KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio, election night coverage. John and Ken here. John Cobelt and Ken Champeau.
As we told you.
And
what's all that?
California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, 77 electoral votes all went to Obama at about 10 seconds after 8 o'clock. All the networks projected that those 4 West Coast states would go to Obama, and now he's got 297 electoral votes, according to the networks, and that puts him over the top.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about Florida, North Carolina, states that are still in play at this hour because they have very, very, very close margins. Florida still favors Obama, but it's not going to be a late night, and we're expecting sometime in the next hour to hour and 20 minutes, both McCain and Obama will make their speeches.
It's done. You could start drinking. They're certainly drinking over in Century City. The Democratic Party, Jody Becker.
Hey, guys.
Jody, what was it like the moment the networks announced that Obama is the next president?
This place, to call it electric would be an understatement. To call it hoopla and mania would be an understatement. I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen anything like it. These people screamed louder than any room full of people I've ever been in before. We just had Gloria Romero get up on stage and say, "This is our country. Tonight we took it back." They all screamed again. These people are really, I guess, trying to let it all out. They've been holding their breath so long that now it's finally the time to exhale, and I think we're seeing that, and the ramifications of a lot of volunteers and ground workers. You know, there were thousands of people who wanted to get tickets tonight. Obviously, you've got a lot of VIPs here, but the campaign made sure that a lot of the people who just did the everyday phone calls, the everyday groundwork. I talked to 3 people who took a road trip to Vegas to do more door knocking over there. Those people were made sure to be included in this. And so you've got the cocktail dress wearing fancy ladies here, no doubt about that. But you've also got people in sweatshirts and Obama t-shirts that look raggedy because they've been worn so much. It's really interesting to see the mix of people here.
As you get a chance to talk to people tonight, what I'd be interested in is, what do they think is going to happen in the next 2 years, let's say? What do they think the change is going to be?
One of the biggest things, and the first thing out of everybody's mouth, happens to be the economy, which you guys have been talking, and T-Ray has been saying all night, was the number one exit poll issue.
Oh, by far.
Right. And I think that has definitely been exemplified in the results tonight, especially talking to all of these people, which is
right. And but what do they think he or the Democratic Party is going to do?
Well, we're hearing a lot about taxes, and specifically tax breaks, which I know you guys have been talking about a lot lately. You can probably hear people cheering Obama, Obama in the background.
So they're happy that they're going to get free checks from the government.
No one has given me that direct quote.
Well, because, I mean, the bottom 35-40% doesn't pay any federal income tax. So if they're getting a federal income tax break, it's a welfare check.
I'm not sure that they quite understand all the technicalities of it.
Those damn technicalities.
They've been definitely given the impression that they're going to get some kind of financial break, and that the Obama camp will somehow get the economy going again, whether that be directly through their pockets or through the economy.
CNN has a camera in Kenya watching a celebration.
God,
I see that.
Kojilo, Kenya.
They're dancing in Kenya.
That's what it looked like here, except more with red, white, and blue.
They actually just did show a shot of Los Angeles previous to this, and I was wondering if that's where you are. I imagine it is.
I'm at the state party headquarters for the Democrats. So, yeah, we've got people with those foam fingers.
Seriously,
everywhere.
though, 2 years ago, who thought that one of the videos on CNN on election night was going to be a celebration in Kenya?
They're very excited.
No, I can see the symbolism here and the emotion, and I just don't know what's going to change. We've been told things are going to change dramatically, and I know that's what everyone's hoping for. And it's, all those technical details, I guess, I'm hanging on.
Well, and the interesting part, which I think you're right about, John, is that has been the campaign slogan since the very moment, Obama first made his way on the scene. We've got banners on both sides of the stage with that in big, bold letters, and that's it. Tonight, even. But it's also a change from what we've got right now. And it's almost a referendum somewhat on the Bush administration.
Oh,
and,
big time.
His approval rating last I had heard was about, 28%? So
25.
I've heard it lower, yeah.
Excuse me, 25. So, regardless of that, it's a change from the current. And I think that's an important a point of what people here are saying, too. I spoke with one woman who actually was a campaign volunteer for Obama earlier, and she had said that 2000 and 2004 were such a disappointment and a letdown she was ready for tonight and wanted to work to make the change because she felt like this was finally a candidate she could get behind and really back, and was excited to see what he could do for her specifically, but for the country as a whole. Another guy standing right next to her was also a volunteer. He's one of the guys who did the road trip to Vegas to knock on doors there.
Yeah, I hope things get better because they really can't get much worse. But I just don't have faith in any political leader of either party.
Well, and that's the thing.
And so I'm wondering how people invest themselves in these people, whether it's Republican or Democrat.
Right.
It's just the gene I don't have, and I always feel on election night like I'm sitting on Mars looking down at some bizarre tribe.
And it is a tribe. I got to say, they really are together tonight and united. You kind of feel this like they're all caught up together and looking at each other and almost, it's so cheesy. The "We Are the World," everybody holding hands.
Oh, jeez.
I know, that's what it feels like.
Oh, my God. We are the world.
But it's not. But it's like what you said. If you're not a part of it, if you haven't been hooked into it, if you don't enjoy the Obama rhetoric and the way he speaks and his personality and his charisma, then you're an outsider and you're not a part of it. And this party tonight is for the people who get it.
He does not have magical powers. I know all these people believe he does, but I just wonder how many of them will get disappointed. Either because he doesn't dig us out of the hole or they don't get all the freebies they think they're getting.
I think the answer to that will come when you unseal the time capsule a year from now.
Yeah.
Because these people are going to enjoy their high for a few weeks to come, and way past Inauguration Day, way past the first 100 days, which will be interesting now to see, as far as what he will be able to do and will be able to pass concretely. That first 100-day plan will be interesting to see. It also will be interesting to see, what he's got to work with sitting in the Congress with him.
Oh, he's going to have a lot of friends in Congress.
Absolutely. But that's also going to dramatically change what his agenda can or cannot be. Right now, according to Real Clear Politics, Democrats are up 4 seats in the Senate to 54 to 38. Democrats are up 9 seats in the House, 172 to 112. So, especially in that Senate, that 54 to 38, that's a big number and only 6 seats away from the filibuster-proof majority.
All right, Jody, good talking with you. We'll check in again later.
Absolutely,
Jody Becker
guys.
in Century City with the Democratic Party. Yes.
I just want to tell you one more thing about you said about people celebrating and you're not quite sure what it is. Here's a comment that I sat and thought for a second. They interviewed a woman at the rally in Chicago waiting for the rally to start, and they asked her what she was so excited about and why she had such great expectations. She said, "The hope that I have is in the African-American men being able to see what they can be and what they can do."
Well, I understand that. It's just hard for me to share that.
Well, I know you don't share it.
I mean, no, I don't want to. I don't really want to rain on the parade. I'm half kidding about all this. I understand what it means
historic.
for blacks to see one of their own, become president of the United States. It's just beyond
but he's
that.
Half white.
Beyond that personal. That's right.
Let's not forget.
I'm claiming my white half too.
He identifies himself as an African American.
Right. African first.
Oh, and McCain has called him to concede.
Well, yeah.
No, but
McCain wants to go to bed.
What I'm saying is I understand the symbolism and the emotionalism because he's the first black president. It's just how every 4 years there's always one group who invests themselves emotionally in a leader, whether it's Republicans or Democrats.
Yourself. These people that go to these rallies tonight are party operative people, and they're rooting for the football team, and that doesn't impress me.
Yeah, and so I'm saying,
clearly.
I'm hoping he does better.
That's why a lot of you people have been, some of you have been annoyed with us because we haven't been big McCain Palin supporters. We're not a football team here. We judge everything as it comes along, and we base our opinions on our experiences and our decision on the factors. We don't just say, "Well, we're voting Republican."
Can I rain on the Obama parade for just a moment? I was saving this all night. There's a website called ObamaImpeachment.org.
Oh, for gosh sakes!
And there is a petition you're being asked to sign to request the impeachment and expulsion of Barack Obama as president.
What we're not getting tonight are all sorts of voting outrage complaints. And
I was worried about that, too.
I know. I think there have already been lawsuits filed, but it's not going to matter.
What happened to those Black Panthers in Pennsylvania? What became of that story?
What, they were supposedly intimidating voters?
Well, it was 2 old guys, I think maybe 2 original Black Panthers.
What were they doing?
They were intimidating people at the polling booth.
Was that in Philly area, I think?
Yeah, in the Philly area, I heard. And I thought, well, now this is.
And the only reason that's not happening, all the legal tussles, is because it's not close. I mean, with Obama up by so many electoral votes and he's going to run up a sizable margin. It's not necessary. Now, one of the things Hillary Clinton said months ago in her last-ditch effort to grab the nomination from Obama, she didn't say it as bluntly as we said it. She says, I can get the white votes. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Tonight, it looks like Obama, according to exit polls, is going to lose the white vote to McCain by 10 points. But know this. 4 years ago, Bush defeated Kerry among whites by 17 points. And McCain is leading Obama by just 1 point among college-educated whites, 50-49. Among the non-college-educated whites, there's the 17-point margin, 58-41.
We have Dr. John Eastman in. He's dean at Chapman University School of Law.
Matter of fact, I saw one exit poll that said that age was more of a factor than race. The concern about McCain's age turned out maybe to be more of a factor. Of course, people will lie about their concerns about race, possibly to a pollster.
So Obama has got the first year is the most important, because then you get into an election year with the House again, and people are going to be looking at whatever changes there are in the wind a year from now. So what do you think he goes for first? And what can he achieve first?
He's got to start moving on health care, even if they don't succeed in getting a bill through, just to make it look like they're making an effort there. I think that's going to be important for them. But I do think he's going to have this so-called tax cut. I think he's going to have checks going out. And the enthusiasm of the crowd down at Century City, and it's replicated all across the country, that we're going to get money out of the government, and that's going to help solve the economic problems. That's a change you're talking about.
Do you think that's like the basic feeling they have?
I do.
Is that we're going to get extra money from the government, and that's going to help me pay my bills this month?
I do, and I want to go back because 200 years ago, right as we're drafting our Constitution, a Scottish history professor, a guy named Alexander Tyler, writes about this in The Fall of the Athenian Democracy. And he says a democracy is always temporary in nature. It simply cannot exist as a permanent form of government. A democracy will continue to exist up until the time that voters discover that they can vote themselves generous gifts from the public treasury.
Well, we're far down that road already.
That's right.
Okay, so you got Dr. Eastman predicting the end of the American democracy
the tax
tonight.
cuts don't expire till 2010, so he can't kick in that part of this until then, right?
Well, no, he can. He can. He's got the votes to do it.
They'll just accelerate
They can rewrite the law any day they want.
That's right. And they can issue what he called was the tax cut, is by giving tax funds or rebates to people that weren't paying taxes. He's essentially creating a new welfare program, calling it a tax cut. And he's now going to subsidize the people that are paying payroll taxes.
And these checks are going to go every year. And how much do you think it's going to be?
Well, this is the dirty little secret.
Is it going to be some nominal amount to say, okay, I gave you $100, or is it going to be serious money?
This is why the under $250,000 got changed to under $200,000, got changed to $150,000. When you look at the actual dynamic of how big the middle class is versus how big the top of the rich people are,
right,
you can't get to everything he's promised with only raising taxes on the rich, and that's become clear. So
he's going to have to go into the upper middle classes.
Exactly.
All right. That's Dr. John Eastman with us all tonight, Chapman University School of Law. He's the dean there. We'll continue with more results, but if you're just turning your car radio on, Barack Obama's the new president.
And there's Jesse Jackson crying in a shot on Fox News.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he's crying.
Big time.
Oh, yeah.
And a few months ago, he wanted to cut Obama's nuts off. John and Ken, KFI AM640.
Maybe he's sad because it's not him.
Yeah, he always thought head be the first black president.
He's not as smooth as Barack was. John and Ken, KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio. John McCain and Sarah Palin are on stage, and I guess John McCain is going to make his concession speech here.
Beautiful Arizona evening. My friends, we have come to the end of a long journey. The American people have spoken, and they have spoken clearly. A little while ago, I had the honor of calling Senator Barack Obama to congratulate him. To congratulate him on being elected the next president of the country that we both love. In a contest as long and difficult as this campaign has been, his success alone commands my respect for his ability and perseverance. But that he managed to do so by inspiring the hopes of so many millions of Americans who had once wrongly believed that they had little at stake or little influence in the election of an American president is something I deeply admire and commend him for achieving. This is an historic election. and I recognize the special significance it has for African Americans and for the special pride that must be theirs tonight. I've always believed that America offers opportunities to all who have the industry and will to seize it. Senator Obama believes that too. But we both recognize that though we have come a long way from the old injustices that once stained our nation's reputation and denied some Americans the full blessings of American citizenship, the memory of them still had the power to wound. A century ago, President Theodore Roosevelt's invitation of Booker T. Washington to dine at the White House was taken as an outrage in many quarters. America today is a world away from the cruel and prideful bigotry of that time. There is no better evidence of this than the election of an African American to the presidency of the United States. Let there be no reason now. Let there be no reason now for any American to fail to cherish their citizenship in this, the greatest nation on earth. Senator Obama has achieved a great thing for himself and for his country. I applaud him for it and offer him my sincere sympathy that his beloved grandmother did not live to see this day. Though our faith assures us she is at rest in the presence of her Creator, and so very proud of the good man she helped raise. Senator Obama and I have had and argued our differences, and he has prevailed. No doubt many of those differences remain. These are difficult times for our country, and I pledge to him tonight to do all in my power to help him lead us through the many challenges we face. I urge all Americans who supported me to join me in not just congratulating him, but offering our next president our goodwill and earnest effort to find ways to come together, to find the necessary compromises, to bridge our differences, and help restore our prosperity, defend our security in a dangerous world, and leave our children and grandchildren a stronger, better country than we inherited. Whatever our differences, we are fellow Americans, and please believe me when I say no association has ever meant more to me than that. It is natural. It's natural tonight to feel some disappointment, but tomorrow we must move beyond it and work together to get our country moving again. We fought as hard as we could, and though we fell short, the failure is mine, not yours. I am so deeply grateful to all of you for the great honor of your support and for all you have done for me. I wish the outcome had been different, my friends. The road was a difficult one from the outset, but your support and friendship never wavered. I cannot adequately express how deeply indebted I am to you. I am especially grateful to my wife, Cindy, my children, my dear mother, and all my family, and to the many old and dear friends who have stood by my side through the many ups and downs of this long campaign. I have always been a fortunate man, and never more so, for the love and encouragement you have given me. You know, campaigns are often harder on a candidate's family than on the candidate, and that's been true in this campaign. All I can offer in compensation is my love and gratitude and the promise of more peaceful years ahead. I am also, of course, very thankful to Governor Sarah Palin, one of the best campaigners I've ever seen. One of the best campaigners I have ever seen, and an impressive new voice in our party for reform and the principles that have always been our greatest strength. Her husband Todd and their 5 beautiful children for their tireless dedication to our cause and the courage and grace they showed in the rough and tumble of a presidential campaign. We can all look forward with great interest to her future service to Alaska, the Republican Party, and our country. To all my campaign comrades, from Rick Davis and Steve Schmidt and Mark Salter, to every last volunteer who fought so hard and valiantly, month after month, in what at times seemed to be the most challenged campaign in modern times. Thank you so much. A lost election will never mean more to me than the privilege of your faith and friendship. I don't know what more we could have done to try to win this election. I'll leave that to others to determine. Every candidate makes mistakes, and I'm sure I made my share of them. But I won't spend a moment of the future regretting what might have been. This campaign was and will remain the great honor of my life. And my heart is filled with nothing but gratitude for the experience and to the American people for giving me a fair hearing before deciding that Senator Obama and my old friend, Senator Joe Biden, should have the honor of leading us for the next 4 years. Please. I would not be an American worthy of the name should I regret a fate that has allowed me the extraordinary privilege of serving this country for a half a century. Today, I was a candidate for the highest office in the country I love so much. And tonight, I remain her servant. That is blessing enough for anyone, and I thank the people of Arizona for it. Tonight, more than any night, I hold in my heart nothing but love for this country and for all its citizens. Whether they supported me or Senator Obama, I wish Godspeed to the man who was my former opponent and will be my president. And I call on all Americans, as I have often in this campaign, to not despair of our present difficulties, but to believe always in the promise and greatness of America, because nothing is inevitable here. Americans never quit. We never surrender. We never hide from history. We make history. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.
John McCain conceding the 2008 presidential election. KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio. John and Ken with you. John Cobelt and Ken Champeau, along with Dr. John Eastman, the dean of the Chapman University School of Law. While McCain was speaking, CNN and Fox News gave Florida to Obama, and CNN's calculation now has Obama winning in an electoral blowout 333 to 155.
With some still undecideds?
Yeah, Indiana is still undecided. 96% of the precincts have reported, and Obama is up by only 8,000 votes out of 2.5 million. In North Carolina, McCain is up by 5,000 votes out of 4 million, with 94% of the precincts voted. So Indiana with 11 electoral votes, North Carolina with 15. Those are two big prizes left. Missouri is left. McCain is winning that 51 to 48%. And then there's little states like Montana and Nevada, little in terms of population and electoral votes, and Alaska. So that's 6 states left. Montana, Nevada, Alaska out west, Missouri in the middle, Indiana, and North Carolina. 6 states left, 333 to 155. Although it's not a blowout in terms of the popular vote, 51 to 48. And Obama's up by about 3 million, about 43.6 million to 40.6 million, with about 38% of the precincts still
a long way to go.
Still to report.
All right, we'll have more of this historic victory tonight, whether you like it or not. It is historic for Barack Obama to become the first African-American elected president of the United States. The toll-free number is 1-800-520-1KFI. We're also joined by Dr. John Eastman from Chapman University's School of Law. And we're going to start taking a look at the propositions in California. I got to tell you right now, it's very early, but your sales tax might go up in L.A. County if Measure R passes. It needs 2/3, but it's very early. Okay. But it is getting the 2/3. So
that can't be.
Remember, it's just L.A. County voters. You know who you're dealing with.
John's going to drive off a cliff on the way home.
That'd be a half a cent.
To build a freaking subway, right?
If it gets 2/3, it's 8.75% you'd pay in sales tax in L.A. County.
Maybe it'll go buy your new house.
It better.
There's a huge turnout today for L.A. County, too, and many other counties in California. We'll bring up to date on everything when we come back.
Terry Relmer has the news now. What's going on?
They really sacrifice goats and chickens? There's a story from one of the British publications
but they were
in preparation for Obama's
victories,
House. They were doing some
animal killing, some animal slaughtering going on in Kenya?
They may bring the animals with them to the White House.
Oh, there you go.
Well, yeah, countries like that, John, you have to slaughter your own food to eat. So what's wrong with,
Well, it's just a bad day if you're a goat.
Chopping the head off a goat.
And somebody gets elected president on the other side of the world. And suddenly you're being hacked up and thrown into a fire. Doesn't seem right.
John and Ken Show. KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio. It won't be long now. And I looked over at CNN. And Oprah's there and in place.
Oh, yeah.
In Grant Park in Chicago, where Obama will speak very shortly his victory speech tonight. We just heard from John McCain conceding the election, and it is a powerful win.
Oprah rushes the stage and bowls Obama over?
Do I think Oprah
will rush the stage and bowl him over?
Oh.
I bet you that happens. She'll just get overcome. By the way, Obama is winning the Electoral College 333 to 155, and there's only 6 states left. And out of those 6 states, he's winning Nevada 60 to 38. He's winning Montana 52-45. He's winning North Carolina by 20,000 votes out of 4 million. He's winning Indiana by 8,000 votes out of 2.5 million. McCain is winning Missouri, and McCain will win Alaska. So it's likely that he's going to get – if he gets North Carolina and Indiana, I mean, that is 26 votes. That's going to put him up to 359. And then if he gets Nevada, that's going to put him up to 364.
Well, Dr. Eastman, your projection was somewhere in that range, right?
Yes, indeed.
Going back an hour or two ago when we were looking at this. Yeah, right now you're right. It's a 333 to 155.
And he's winning the popular vote by about 3 million votes, 51% to 48%. Steve Gregory in Irvine.
Yes, with the Republicans.
Hey, it's a big party here.
For what?
Yeah, and what are they celebrating?
I don't know, but
that they're about as relevant as the Socialist Party these days.
Well, there were some tears here while John McCain was giving his concession speech. There were some tears here in the crowd. They're expecting 500, they said, under the 10. I'm not sure if it's quite 500, but there's a...
Wait, 500?
Yeah, that's what they're planning on.
Jody said she had at least 7,000 in the ballroom in Century City.
Well,
it's not much of a crowd.
Well, there it is. And they told me this at 5 o'clock. They said they were expecting 500, so they weren't even expecting that many to begin with.
They better be giving away the booze at the bar. If they're charging people, that crowd's going to peter out quickly.
They're also there for, what, congressional races and state legislative races?
You got all of that. I just got through interviewing Steve Poizner a minute ago. Apparently he's one of the heads of the California Republican Party. And was asking him about
he's about all that's left of the California.
He's the insurance commissioner,
Yeah, he's the only guy left.
He's the only statewide Republican. I mean, Schwarzenegger.
We don't count Schwarzenegger
I'll tell you
anymore.
something. He was smacking down the Republicans pretty good tonight. He said voters sent a very clear message tonight that Republicans have got to get back to being conservatives, and they got to, he was pretty brutal on the Republican Party.
Well, he's a candidate for governor, so...
Yeah, so
2010.
But right now, people are just kind of milling around. Volunteers have come in from the Irvine party headquarters. they're all just kind of shaking hands, taking pictures, and enjoying the free food.
Yeah, were they crying when McCain conceded?
Well, like I said, there were some people kind of standing there watching the big screens, and there were some tears going down the eyes, people kind of wiping away tears, and then they would applaud. They applauded every time the crowd there in Phoenix applauded, the crowd here would applaud, and then when they talked about Sarah Palin, they applauded, and they pretty much followed suit from what the crowd was doing in Phoenix. And then at the end, they all just kind of turned to each other. There's some music playing now, and they're just, like I said, they're all enjoying the free food and booze.
All right, Steve. Thanks for
bet,
coming on. Dr. John Eastman with us, the Dean Chapman University School of Law. We talk in generic terms about what the Republican Party has to do to become relevant again, not only nationally but here in California. But nobody really runs a party. I mean, nobody can really tell the candidates what to do. It's kind of strange. It's not like people are going to decide, well, we're going to go in this direction with this economic message, or we're going to go with this direction. I mean, everyone's a freelancer. Everybody is out to save their own butt in the end.
They are, but the candidate that makes the pitch that works will all of a sudden draw a lot of people to him, and a lot of other candidates will start emulating it. What Steve Poizner says here is that we've got to get back to our conservative principles, and that succeeds, then you'll find a lot of other people taking that as well.
There's two types of conservatives, and they seem to have less and less in common these days.
Yep.
And it's the religious conservatives, and then it's the small government, more
fiscal conservatives.
More libertarian
Crime matters to them. Fiscal matters.
I don't really want to hear people prattling on about gay marriage and abortion and about having a theocracy. That stuff turns me off even more than some of the excesses of the Democratic Party.
And you can't be talking about a cultural meltdown during an economy meltdown. That's probably when you're off the track.
That's right.
And there's a lot of people like me. And I don't have a home in either party, and I don't find that either party particularly cares about somebody like me. And I know I'm not a unique individual in that regard.
Yeah, look, those two wings of the party came together because there was a greater threat in the Soviet Union under Reagan. And when Reagan made success in the Cold War, the prime motivator, the other people were able to join on with that if they got a little piece. When we win the Cold War, that goes away, and you end up with this feud within the party. If what we see from the kind of terroristic war we're in right now creates, you got to focus on that to the exclusion of everything else, you'll find a coalition that'll be rebuilt much like the old one under Reagan. Until then, we're going to have these warring factions in the party. And now, at some point, those warring factions are going to say, until we can find some common ground to get back together, we're going to continue to lose elections. I mean, you're not going to split off and join the Libertarian Party because there's no chance of succeeding there. And the religious conservatives aren't going to spin off and form their own party because there would be zero chance. They've got to try to find a way for there to be some common ground. And it's a little hard to see through that right now.
So, do you think all these Republicans who, just ran Washington into the ground the last few years, do you think they feel bad about what they did?
I don't think they think it's their fault. I don't think.
No politician or group ever does, right?
That's right.
It's always somehow the other side. I mean, they did have complete control for 4 years leading up to
6
years. And I mean, everybody talks, you got to clue me in on this because everybody talks about, liberal media bias and the Democrats and all this nonsense. The Republicans have held at least one part of the government, either presidency, Senate, House, for 26 out of the last 28 years.
Yep.
There was only 1 2-year period that the Democrats ran everything, and that was Hillary's health care debacle. So how pervasive can all this – why do the Republicans always carry on about the media when they've won so often for 28 years? I mean, if the media does have a bias, it obviously doesn't have that much influence. And I read a poll yesterday in the New York Times that more people think that this election has been screwed by the media bias than by people rebelling against George Bush. It was 2-1. Republicans believe media bias was more important than Bush's record. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, are they insane?
Yeah, they are. I mean, we sometimes believe our own rhetoric and propaganda. Those are our marching marching songs for the troops sometimes. I mean, there is a bias, but it doesn't affect, if you take your message directly to the voters, it doesn't affect that. The media can only run so much of a filter.
I mean,
and there's plenty of alternative media that gets the message out.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The media is more splintered and has less influence than ever before. I hear people carrying on. It's like, oh, CBS News and Katie Couric. I look at the ratings. It's 6 million people out of 300 million, and most of them are elderly. Just go look at the ads they run. They're running ads for Viagra and Flomax. And I'm thinking it can't be those 6 million elderly people who are under the spell of Katie Couric that's screwing the nation. And it seems like they believe in all sorts of fables and mythologies instead of looking at the message and the candidates that they have.
Well, the Republicans, when they were in control in Congress, it was easier to blame the media for their losses in 2006 than it was to blame themselves for having the bridge to nowhere, for having pork, for not having tackled those problems, for starting to act like Democrats and believing that they know better. I mean, what we've got here is the divide between the Sarah Palin folks, which is kind of common sense common folk, and the Washington elites. I mean, that's where the divide is. And they all think that they can run our lives better, which is exactly the message that the Democrats have been portraying since FDR. And it's no wonder why people don't buy the Republicans' watered-down version of the old Democrat message. And they just
is there something wrong with elites? Is there something wrong with being educated and successful?
Yeah, well, no, there's nothing wrong with being educated and successful.
Because I'd love my kids to go to an Ivy League school, and it seems like a lot of the Republican, the Sarah Palin crowd is denouncing people who come out of Ivy League schools.
No, they're not denouncing people who come out of Ivy League schools. They're denouncing people who come out of Ivy League schools and think because of that they ought to be running the rest of our lives rather than us running our own lives. That's the divide. It's the Felix Frankfurter best and brightest. This is right out of FDR's administration, where we bring the best and brightest out of Harvard. We run them into agencies in government, and they're going to control everything for us. They're going to know how to manage monetary policy because they're smarter than the rest of us. They're going to know how you ought to be spending your money better. So we're going to tax you out the wazoo and then tell you through tax credits how you ought to be spending it. It's not that you're elite and educated. It's you think you have authority because you're elite and educated to govern somebody else's lives and how they ought to run their lives. And that's what this kind of populist common sense, the Joe the plumber challenge to the elites was. It's not that they're smart people. It's that smart people think that because they're smart, they can run everybody else's lives.
But smart people are not going to look at Joe the plumber and say, hey, guys, you're right. You got me. Let Joe take over.
I think they got carried away
they're not going to ask,
but this time.
This is the difference. They're not asking Joe to take over. Joe's all he's asking for is to be left alone to take care of himself. And it's that ability to work and make your own way without Washington telling you, are you going to have OSHA requirements to run your home office and all these other things that we get out of this stuff.
I think John's right. The mood this year is maybe we need a little Washington. Maybe you get too carried away with the economy in free fall, with troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. People want someone who looks like they got something on the ball, and they're not just Joe from the street.
I feel like we had Joe the plumber as president for the last 8 years.
That's kind of how
I felt like Sarah Palin was a female version of it, and now Joe the plumber is the blue collar version of it. It's like enough with people.
They'll take their chances with an elite. Yeah,
it's like give me a smart guy, even like a smart guy who might be.
We might throw him out in 4 years. It looks now like President-elect Barack Obama is going to speak around 9 o'clock.
All right.
Time.
So why don't we take a break here? We'll have more. John and Ken with you. Also, Dr. John Eastman with us from Chapman University School of Law. And we'll continue on into the evening here. We'll eventually report on the propositions when we get some meaningful numbers. Kennedy and Suits will be on later this evening. John and Ken, KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio.
KFI's Election 08 continues with John and Ken.
John Cobell and Ken Champeau, and along with us, Dr. John Eastman from the Chapman University School of Law. KFI AM640, more stimulating talk radio. Barack Obama will be speaking in Chicago. He won the presidency tonight. He's got 338 electoral votes. McCain at 155. There are only 5 states that have not been called by the networks. Indiana, where Obama is up by 8,000 votes out of over 2.5 million. Obama is leading North Carolina by 29,000 votes out of 4 million. And Montana, Obama is winning 53-44. Alaska, McCain is going to win, and McCain is leading Missouri 51-48. We have some new numbers, though. The California propositions. Proposition 1A, the high-speed rail. This is building that high-speed rail line from Los Angeles to San Francisco. It's losing 52-48. We'd have to borrow $10 billion for that.
But again, not a high percentage of votes counted.
No, although it's about 2.5 million votes. The farm animals.
They're winning.
Giving the chickens more space, Proposition 2.
Go Hens.
They're winning 61-38.
Yeah, that was way ahead in polls.
Prop 3, borrowing money for children's hospitals. No!
Uh-oh.
52-48.
Well, we said no on that one.
All right. Abortion notification. That's yes by a very narrow
That's a
margin.
dead heat.
That's 3,000 vote difference out of 2.5 million votes. And that would require minors to tell their parents before they get an abortion.
How's that Prop 5 doing? That's an important one to go down.
Losing 64-35.
Oh, that's big.
That was the get out of jail free idea where you could be excused for committing serious felonies if you could prove that you're addicted to drugs or alcohol. Prop 6 is going down. This was some criminal justice reform that was going to cost money.
Yeah, that's George Runner's Safe Neighborhood Acts.
Yeah, that's going down in about 70-30. Prop 7, this renewable energy idea, borrowing money, right? That's going down 66-34.
Prop 8, gay marriage.
The gay marriage ban, right now, the gay marriage ban is winning 54-46. About 2.9 million votes in.
But where are those votes from?
That's a good question here. Let me see. Is San Francisco reported? San Francisco only has San Francisco County. Oh, San Francisco County, there are no votes yet.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Marin County, only 7%. San Mateo County, hardly anybody. Let me see where these are coming from. I can't see. Oh, here, like Fresno County's got 40% reporting, and that's heavily against gay marriage, 70-30.
L.A. County's got about 10% reporting with a 53%.
That's not a big margin considering San Francisco and L.A. haven't reported much. The victims' rights proposition, Prop 9, winning 55-45. Prop 10, borrowing money for alternative fuels. No, 63-37. Redistricting.
That's T. Boone Pickens, right?
Yeah, that was his own little private proposition to enrich himself.
And redistricting, which Schwarzenegger really wants.
That is winning at the moment, 54-46. And then loans for veterans. Yes, 63-36.
The only bond measure so far passing.
Yeah. So,
all right, we're expecting that Barack Obama is going to address the crowd in Chicago at Grant Park, whose numbers were estimated to be 1 million, but that was earlier today. I don't know how many people actually showed up, but clearly with him...
It's always 1 million, though, isn't it?
As president-elect, probably people are saying, I want to get down there and be a part of this. We're expecting him to take the stage within the next minute or so. There he is. He's walking up.
KFI Los Angeles, John and Ken show here, and we will be cutting to the Barack Obama speech momentarily. He's coming out and waving to the crowd. He flipped a number of states from Republican to Democrat. Florida, Virginia, Ohio, Iowa, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada. All those states were for George Bush 4 years ago, and he got them.
There it is, the terrorist fist bump. I saw it. All right.
He's waving to the crowd.
He's walking up there with...
What's she wearing?
Just one daughter? Oh, no, they're both there. I couldn't see the little one.
She's wearing an odd black and red outfit.
Who?
I think
Michelle?
Michelle,
Obama. Yeah.
Is that a sweater over the top?
I don't know. I can't.
With a hole in the middle?
Yeah, my Fox News picture is really bright, and it's all bleeding together, and I can't see what it is.
Oh, you would have to be. What is she wearing?
I know.
That's so girly.
Sorry.
That is an enormous crowd.
It does look better on.
I heard that 70,000 people got tickets, but they were going to make accommodations for more people.
They had a spillover area.
Right, that's right.
As well.
Yeah, Grant Park is enormous. He's giving his wife a kiss. His 2 daughters are on stage.
Now they're getting off stage now.
The wife and the children have walked away.
Well, hopefully, unlike Bill Clinton, he'll be brief.
Oh, that's right. How long was that?
Every speech Bill Clinton made was... All right, here we go.
Hello, Chicago.
Listen to that crowd. That's the largest crowd I've ever seen.
Well, they think he's going to save the world.
I mean, have you ever seen a politician draw a crowd like this?
Is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible? Who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time? Who still questions the power of our democracy?